Hello, this is an abbreviated overview of M201, Preparing the Theater. This overview omits the first part of the lesson, which will be provided in class by your DJMO instructor. During the first part of this lesson, you'll be introduced to the concept of setting the theater along with related topics such as JRSOI. Together, this instruction will better posture you to execute the M201 practical exercise in which you will assume the role of a J5 section planning a concept for setting the JOA. Let's talk about Army pre-positioned stocks. Just recall what you learned in F105 about the Army's components. Reach back in your memory to Total Army Analysis. You might recall that the Program Objective Memorandum, or POM Force apportionment, occurs among 5 different components. So you got Compo 1, which is the active Army, Compo 2, the Army National Guard, Compo 3, the Army Reserve, Compo 4, unresourced unit equivalents, and, of course, Compo 6, that's Army pre-position stocks. Let's focus on the strategic utilization of Army pre-position stocks, commonly referred to as APS. The intent of APS is clear: to enable rapid issuance of materiel to bolster contingency operations. These stocks are categorized into unit sets, operational project stocks, also known as OPPROJ, and war reserve stocks for allies. The ASCC shoulders significant responsibilities in this domain. It undertakes the meticulous planning to pinpoint seaports of debarkation and issuing locations. It ensures the readiness of APS through rigorous exercises and coordinates the release of equipment from Headquarters Department of the Army. A pivotal task for the ASCC involves the reimbursement of costs to AMC, that's Army Materiel Command. Before units can begin employing APS equipment, the combatant commander and ASCC must conduct an intelligence preparation of the battlefield and provide sustainment for deploying forces. These activities help to address the unique requirements for the discharge, transportation, and handling of the stocks. As required, the ASCC facilitates the transfer of these stocks from one APS site to an aerial port of debarkation or seaport of debarkation in a different theater of operations. Now let's examine the accompanying tables. Table 1-1 categorizes supply classes and identifies the organizations responsible for managing the Army pre-position stocks, showcasing a collaborative network that spans from the Defense Logistics Agency to the United States Army Materiel Command. In Table 2, or 1-2, we see a comprehensive list of APS locations and their respective compositions, indicative of a strategic global footprint that supports combatant commands with the necessary operational project and unit sets. You were introduced to the term executive agent during the Common Core. Let's review. The term executive agent denotes a delegation of authority by the Secretary of Defense to a subordinate, empowering them to act on behalf of the Secretary. This mechanism serves a dual purpose. It designates responsibility and ensures that adequate resources are funded to critical support functions. The Secretary of Defense appoints the Army as the executive agency for numerous DoD common support requirements. So by centralizing these responsibilities, the executive agent model significantly reduces the redundancy of support efforts across DoD. It optimizes resource utilization and fosters a cohesive approach to lead service responsibilities. Under the EA framework, the combatant commander retains the authority to assign service-specific lead responsibilities for support not related to the executive agent's purview. Take note that the executive agent's influence spans across all warfighting functions, transcending beyond just sustainment. It encapsulates a broad spectrum of operational capabilities. To illustrate, let's consider a concrete example from FM3-0. It states the Theater Army is the designated DoD executive agent for setting and supporting the theater communications and network infrastructure in all areas of responsibility, or AORs. This underscores the Army's critical role in ensuring that our forces remain connected and well coordinated across the globe. As we continue to fortify our strategic and operational capabilities, the role of the executive agent remains a cornerstone in achieving mission readiness and effectiveness. Well, here's another topic that you learned about during the Common Core. Army Support to Other Services, or ASOS, is the embodiment of collaboration and efficiency, achieved through a blend of directed authorities, lead service designations, and inter-service support agreements. These mechanisms ensure that support provided is not only timely but also effective in meeting the diverse needs of the joint force. As outlined in ATP 3-93, Theater Army Operations, and FM 3-94, Theater Army, Corps, and Division Operations, the Theater Army shoulders a broad spectrum of responsibilities under ASOS. Let's highlight some of these responsibilities. Take note that support is not exclusive to sustainment. The Army's ASOS responsibilities may include missile defense and fire support, as well as communications and CBRN ops. Through ASOS, the Theater Army enhances the Joint Forces' capability to operate and sustain itself, demonstrating the Army's commitment to joint interoperability and support. Likewise, the Army's executive agent responsibilities encompass certain contracting activities, the DoD feeding, research and engineering program, and the military postal service. Observe that the Army is also charged with support responsibilities that may be very important to setting the theater. Let's focus on the concept of Common User Logistics, or COLL. Defined by FM 4-0 as materiel or service support shared with or provided by two or more services, the Department of Defense agencies and multinational partners. COLL is a cornerstone of joint and combined operational sustainment. COLL ensures the effective and efficient provision of support, maximizing resources and minimizing redundancy. It is a testament to the collaborative spirit that underpins modern military operations. The types of services and materials deemed suitable for COLL are diverse, ranging from subsistence and medical material to those with limited suitability, such as general support items and certain repair parts. JP 4-0, Joint Logistics, further categorizes potential COLL areas into sustainability and service categories, illustrating the breadth of COLL application. So, services like the development and maintenance of facilities and hazardous material management are rated excellent for COLL, showing the high potential for shared support. Likewise, transportation services are generally good candidates, facilitating the strategic movement of forces and materiel. Joint health services, however, have limited COL applicability, reflecting the specialized nature of medical support. Understanding COL is crucial for logisticians and planners alike, as it underpins our ability to support diverse operations effectively and sustainably. Now let's talk about theater opening. Theater opening is a critical element of establishing a foothold in operational areas. According to ATP 4-94, Theater Sustainment Command, theater opening is the process of establishing and operating ports of debarkation, which includes air, sea, and rail, alongside a robust distribution and sustainment infrastructure. This strategic initiative ensures that there is a smooth port throughput for the RSOI of forces in theater. The responsibilities that come under theater opening are varied, encapsulating the full spectrum of logistics required to project and sustain military power. Key functions within theater opening include synchronizing RSO&I operations, a process that ensures the seamless transition of forces from arrival to full operational capability. The port operations, the management of sea and aerial port facilities, which are vital transit points for personnel and materiel. Intermodal operations, the seamless transfer of cargo between different forms of transportation, for example, from ship to rail to truck. Movement control, the orchestration of logistics movements within the theater, coordinating the allocation of transportation resources. So these functions are not just logistics tasks, they are the cogs in the machine that power the entire operational effort. Without a well-established theater opening, the capability to sustain forces and conduct operations can be severely hampered. Theater opening is more than just a set of procedures. It's the backbone of operational sustainment, supporting our forces as they move into, through, and out of the theater of operations. Okay, let's take a closer look at port and terminal operations. Port opening. Defined in ATP 4-94, Theater Sustainment Command, port opening is a strategic logistics operation, vital for the movement and sustainment of forces. Port opening is more than just the physical space where ships dock or planes land. It represents the ability to project and sustain military might across the globe. The process of port opening encompasses the establishment, operation, and throughput of forces, equipment, and supplies through designated ports of debarkation. A successful port opening operation is marked by its capacity to meet the desired operating capability for that particular node. To achieve this, port opening requires specialized units that are adept at handling the nuances of debarkation operations. These units are the linchpins in ensuring the maximum throughput of personnel and equipment, facilitating their entry into the theater of operations. Terminal operations, which, as defined by the DoD Dictionary of Military and Associated Terms, include the reception, processing, and staging of passengers, the transit storage, marshaling of cargo, and the loading and unloading of transport conveyances. It is here that the logistical dance of manifesting and forwarding cargo and passengers to their destinations take place. Terminal operations, therefore, are the heartbeat of port opening, ensuring that the arrival, processing, and onward movement of forces and supplies are executed with precision and efficiency. As detailed in ATP 4-13, Army Expeditionary Intermodal Operations, the orchestration of port opening involves multiple specialized units, each with a pivotal role in the logistical chain. On one side, we have the employment of the Expeditionary Transportation Brigade. The diagram that you see here illustrates STDC's presence at the seaport of debarkation, supported by combat sustainment support battalions and terminal transportation battalions. These units work in tandem to manage the vast influx of resources through water terminals under the watchful coordination of Harbor Master Command and Control Centers. On the flip side, the diagram depicting the Joint Task Force Port Opening, JTFPO, showcases a similar yet distinct arrangement at both the aerial port of debarkation and the SPOD. Here, the JTFPO, alongside CSSBs and SDDC elements, orchestrates the flow from the port to forward nodes, integrating the efforts of inland cargo transfer companies and medium truck companies. The JTFPO is a Transcom joint expeditionary capability to rapidly establish and initially operate and clear a port of debarkation and conduct cargo handling and movement operations to a forward node, facilitating port throughput in direct support of combatant commander requirements. The JTFPO APOD comprises contingency response airmen from Transcom's Air Force Component Air Mobility Command, and the rapid port opening element soldiers from SDDC. The JTFPO SPOD is made up of SDD soldiers and sailors from U.S. Transcom's Navy Component Military Sealift Command. Joint Logistics Over the Shore, or JLOTS, is a critical capability within our military's operational toolkit, allowing us to project power and sustain forces even when traditional port infrastructure is unavailable or impractical. JLOTS operations are the embodiment of joint force collaboration, bringing together the capabilities of both the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Army under the coordination of a joint force commander. This synergistic approach is pivotal in areas where established ports are damaged, under enemy control, or otherwise inaccessible. The scope of JLOTS is comprehensive. It begins with the reception of ships and extends through the entire process of offloading equipment and materiel. The operation continues with the onward movement of these vital resources to inland marshaling areas and support areas, ensuring that our forces are effectively supplied and equipped to meet their operational objectives. The accompanying images provide a visual representation of JLOTS in action. Now let's talk about theater distribution. A theater distribution system is not just an isolated set of tasks. It is an integrated series of processes that underpin the operational capability of our forces. This system serves as the lifeline of military operations, ensuring that the flow of material and personnel is not only maintained, but optimized for effectiveness and efficiency. The distribution portion of theater opening is the cornerstone that allows the force to execute its mission. It involves the critical functions of establishing and operating ports of debarkation and the development of distribution systems and sustainment bases. This intricate network facilitates the reception, staging, and onward movement of forces and material, enabling our soldiers to have what they need when they need it and where they need it. The theater distribution system is a complex matrix of facilities, installations, methods, and procedures meticulously designed to receive, store, maintain, distribute, and control the flow of military materiel. From the point of receipt to the point of issue, every step is carefully coordinated to support the activities and units at the sharp end of our operations. The Theater Distribution Plan, as outlined in ATP 4-0.1, is a blueprint for how sustainment flows from the theater base to the tactical edge. This plan details who is involved, what is distributed, when and where it happens, and how it is executed. The WHO of the Theater Distribution Plan encompasses the command and control headquarters and the sustainment units tasked with executing the distribution mission. The what refers to the classes of supply, cargo, and equipment that are essential for operations. These range from daily sustenance to armaments, all the way to the heavy machinery needed for construction and support. Moving on to the where, we consider the critical nodes in the distribution network. These nodes include the ports, terminals, support areas, and other essential locations. The when of the plan is about timing, the schedule cycles and phases that ensure that operations are conducted in a timely manner. Lastly, the how details the methods and modes of distribution. This includes decisions on whether to use supply points or unit distribution methods, the consideration of throughput, and the modes of transportation, which could be surface-based like motor transport or rail, or air-based, involving fixed wing and rotary wing aircraft. The hub and spoke model simplifies the network of routes and nodes. It's a strategic approach that ensures materiel moves through the theater distribution system in a time-definite manner. At the heart of this system are the strategic and national providers who initiate the flow of supplies. From there, the materiel travels through the aerial and seaports of debarkation before being distributed to multiple sustainment hubs across the operational theater. The Theater Sustainment Command, in conjunction with movement control battalions and elements from SDDC, plays a crucial role in establishing initial theater hubs. These hubs serve as central points from which supplies are distributed to various nodes, including the centralized receiving and shipping points, sometimes called CRISPs, and supply support activities that you know as SSAs. And from these nodes, the material is distributed forward to our forward operating bases, to the hands of our special operations forces, and ultimately to the warfighter on the ground. This system ensures that the right things reach the right place at the right time, and understanding the Army theater distribution system is vital. It allows us to see the big picture of how complex operations are supported logistically. This model demonstrates the Army's commitment to innovation in logistics, ensuring that our forces are always ready and equipped regardless of where they are deployed. All right, let's talk about formalizing the plan and what this means. So we have a structured approach to setting the JOA and executing RSOI as guided by critical planning documents within the military's operational framework. So, you've heard before of theater posture plans. These TPPs set the strategic vision, while theater distribution plans and logistics estimates provide the logistical scaffolding that supports the entire operation. Annex D of O plans and con plans takes this a little further, delineating the specific responsibilities required for establishing the theater or JOA and RSO&I. These documents ensure that all involved parties are aware of their roles and the tasks at hand. A core function of the Theater Army, as stated in ATP 3-93, is to execute the combatant commander's daily operational requirements. This often involves supporting the Joint Force Commander in the development of O plans and con plans and their associated annexes, ensuring that every operational detail is accounted for. The Theater Army, when necessary, develops a supporting plan that aligns with the Joint Force Commander's overarching plans as per JP 5-0. Predominantly, the Theater Army holds the responsibility for setting and supporting the JOA, a task that encompasses a wide range of activities, all aimed at ensuring the seamless flow of operations. And finally, RSO&I, a critical phase in force projection, is orchestrated by the Theater Army and its associated Theater Sustainment Command. By integrating into the overarching plans and orders, the Theater Army ensures that every unit arriving in theater is ready to move forward, fully prepared for their mission. So this has been an abbreviated overview on preparing the theater. This video is intended to supplement your understanding of the class content. It is not a substitute for thoroughly examining the doctrine outlined in your advance sheet. Thank you very much.